Cool.
Awesome. Well, hi, Laryssa. Thanks for taking time to have a conversation about our experience working together. Could you please introduce yourself to everybody? Who are you? What's your agency specialize in?
Sure. Hi, Jesse. Thanks for inviting me to do this testimonial. So, my name is Laryssa Worstiak. I am the founder and owner of Joy Joya. We are a digital marketing services agency that works exclusively with the jewelry industry, and our specialty is organic digital marketing services around the foundation of brand storytelling, content marketing, email, and social media. I'm also the creator of the Joy Joya podcast and the author of the book Jewelry Marketing Joy.
Awesome. Let's talk a little bit about the beginning before working together. What kind of warning signs appeared in your business that told you needed our services or wanted to work together?
Sure. Well, before I started working with you, Jesse, I was feeling kind of stuck in my business because I was not working with the clients that I knew would fulfill me personally and that I knew would grow my business. And I had a personal goal to work with a different type of like client avatar. And I felt that I needed support in attracting and not only attracting, but ultimately when I did get these new clients, to streamline my operations to be able to work with them effectively.
Absolutely. Awesome. What problems did we solve for you? And real quick, for everybody that's watching, we've worked together for about 3 months or a little bit less than 3 months. So what problems did we solve for you so far?
Yeah. So before I started working with Jesse, I have one person on staff, but it's mostly me working with my clients. And I have the problem that all of my processes are like in my head, basically. So the business can't run without me, which is a problem because it will be difficult to scale. It will be difficult to bring on additional team members. So since I started working with Jesse, he really helped me start to think about processes in general, which I just never even had wrapped my head around again, because it was so much about me and my talent and expertise. And now Jesse is kind of helping me bring it out of me and document it so that I can bring on team members as I scale my business.
Awesome. And what would have happened if we kind of failed to deliver on that promise, that service?
If you fail to deliver, I think I would just be spinning my wheels and feeling overwhelmed and frustrated and feeling like I can't grow and move forward in my business so that, even if I were to kind of like attract these bigger clients and sign them, I wouldn't be able to like effectively fulfill on the services because I would be working like 100 hours a week and not looking toward expanding my team and how I can really like streamline my operations.
Absolutely. And then what kind of, where did you start in your search for a solution?
I didn't actually actively start a search. At the end of last year, I kind of knew that I was in a transitional phase, and I kind of had in my head that I wanted support, that I wanted to bring on a coach, but it was more just like an intention or thought for the universe that like I needed this. And I hadn't actively started pursuing it. And then Jesse actually reached out to me with a cold email, which I get a lot of. I like tons of kind of coachy spam stuff. But his email really stood out to me because it was very personalized. It didn't feel super sales pitchy. And I think it just resonated with me because I already had the like intention that I wanted to work with someone. So I decided to respond to his outreach, and we had a great initial conversation. And yeah.
Kind of just flowed.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. What obstacle, if any, almost prevented you from working together, if any?
Um, I don't really think there was any obstacle necessarily. I mean, investing in something significant for your business is always a little bit scary because you're kind of like almost taking a leap off a cliff in a way. I mean, I knew that I felt confident enough that I would get something out of it. So it wasn't like totally nerve wracking, but yeah, I think just the initial not knowing like what to really expect until you start working with someone. But otherwise, I didn't have any obstacles necessarily.
Totally. And then let's think about kind of what's happened over the last 3 months. Can you talk a little bit about what it's been like working together and what results you've seen so far?
Sure. Definitely, I would say Jesse, the program that I've been following, and with Jesse's guidance, I've like more intentionally worked on increasing my confidence as a business owner, which is the first step in everything. I think last year, especially before I worked with Jesse and as I was transitioning, I had some doubts about myself due to some like negative client interactions, but really realized later that it's not necessarily always me, but that maybe I'm just working with the wrong people. So Jesse and I kind of work together to really figure out who I want to be working with so that I can deliver on my strengths. I can deliver effectively, be appreciated by my clients, and have really good client relationships. So that has definitely improved since I've been working with Jesse. Also, we haven't fully like realized my processes because that is a very long term thing. And I am so in the baby stages of it that I have a long way to go. But he really helped me kind of change the way I think about the services that I offer and how I deliver on them so that I can start at least being mindful of like documenting my work, start like planting the seeds in my head of how I want to expand my team, and also just really refine the services I offer, as well as starting to think about charging based around value rather than like actual cost to deliver. So all those things together have really helped me present myself more confidently to the prospects that I talk to, and yeah, get what I deserve basically.
Absolutely. I'm going off the cuff here, but a lot of people, when they look at the Leverage for Growth program, they realize that there's kind of like a sequence that we follow, but they're always nervous about it feeling as though it's not customized to them. What would you say from your experience over the last 3 months? You know, have we customized it to you specifically and your needs as opposed to just following particularly the program in a sequential order?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked me that question because honestly, if we had followed it sequentially and if you really were like a stickler to that, I think I would have dropped out because my brain just doesn't always work like that sometimes. And sometimes, like, for example, I need to see the end goal in order to understand like what I'm doing now. And I kind of need to jump around in a way that just like intuitively feels right to me. And I really appreciate that Jesse is kind of willing to accommodate that and willing to like adjust on the fly and to kind of meet me where I am. Whereas I mean, I haven't worked with a lot of other coaches, but I could see how that might be an issue for them. And so, yes, I appreciate that very much.
Absolutely. And another thing that happens in the market, especially for marketing agency owners, is a lot of times in these programs, they're sold based around what an agency owner had done before, and then they take the templates and then they sell that. So the customization, not only from you going through the program, do you also feel as though it's custom to your services specifically and what you have to offer as opposed to just some templated business program?
Yeah, it's definitely not templated. I think it's kind of hard for me to say because I'm still personally like figuring out my service offerings. I have a general idea, but again, Jesse's always there to kind of meet me where I am. So even as I'm evolving, like he's kind of walking next to me and helping me with that.
Absolutely. Okay, I'll go back to the questions. So what has exceeded your expectations since working together?
I would say when I have a question outside of our meetings, like if I email him, he responds very promptly and also takes the time to like give a thoughtful and detailed response, and especially using tools like Loom, which is very personalized and also specific. And so I feel like he'll actually like really take the time to think about what I'm asking and give a thoughtful answer rather than just like, a few sentence email. So I really appreciate that.
Awesome. Does it feel as though when you have a business problem that it can be solved pretty quickly?
Yeah, I would say so. I think most of my problems are just in my head. So, like, it's good to have a perspective and like someone I can trust that's outside of my business. I think that is the most important thing. And also, one thing I really like about working with you is I think personality wise, you are in some ways like opposite to me. So, I tend to react to things like very emotionally, or it can be like sort of like dramatic about stuff, not intentionally, but just because I have heightened emotions around things. And I can like count on Jesse to like bring me down a few notches and just remember to think through it in like just a logical way and like take the emotions out of it. And that's just hard for me naturally to do. So it's good to have a sounding board of someone who is like the opposite of me.
That's good. Awesome. How would you describe the program to somebody who's never heard of this?
Yeah, I would describe it as like a very rational and logistical approach to business that's based in processes, which I mean is probably how efficient businesses should be anyway. But I feel like most people like me who are used to being like a hustler or used to being a freelancer who are transitioning more into like a business owner mindset, for them, this is kind of like a mind blowing concept because, like I said earlier, everything lives in my head, and that is not the mentality that's going to help me scale. So, this program really allowed me to almost have like a paradigm shift. Like, I don't have to think this old way anymore. Now we're going to think in this new way, and here's how we can make that happen.
Absolutely. What results have you seen so far since the last 3 months?
Yeah, well, I mean, mostly just around confidence and clarity around my services so that as I am approaching these new clients that I have on my radar, I feel very clear around specifically how I can support them. Whereas in the past, maybe I was just kind of like throwing things at the wall to see like how they would resonate. Whereas now I know my strengths, I feel really confident about them. I am starting to realize the monetary value of them and feeling comfortable saying that to people and not like batting an eyelash. And that is really powerful. And from like an internal perspective, again, this is like a constant evolution and I'm definitely not where I need to be yet, but just beginning to think about the processes that I need to implement and how I can look at the services that I am repeatedly offering clients and make them um, into a process that a new team member can do for me so that I can be more of like the leader in my business rather than the doer. So I'm looking forward to getting to that point.
Awesome. Is there anything else that you'd like to comment on about the service or your experience so far?
um I would just say that I would recommend working with Jesse. Like I said, especially if I think more, especially if you're a person like me who is like a more of a creative, more of like an emotional person, more not necessarily disorganized, but like just idea driven, creative, right brained, because I feel like having that balance in Jesse's background and what Jesse has to offer will really complement your strengths and enhance them and help you bring more structure to your business.
Awesome. Thank you, Laryssa.
Yeah, thank you.